slow. Don't go fast. Faster than you think you should be doing, because if you go too fast, the knife will slip and cut part off, or it'll scratch the body where you don't want it to do that. And sometimes when you do the bare metal foil, it will leave a little bit of adhesive on the car, and that's pretty easy to remove as well. I remove that with some Goo Gone that I get at Hobby Lobby, and just a piece of paper towel, wipe it off with some water, and it's done.
Should you do that as soon as you can?
It doesn't really matter. I've actually done it right away the same night I've done the foil, and I've also done it more than a year afterwards.
It still works.
It still worked. And this piece that I cut off, obviously I cut off a piece that's too large, as you can see, but this piece will fit on the side. So I just push it down, make sure it's not.
I heard you say it's an old sheet. Does this stuff have a shelf life?
It does, but you can tell when it gets too old, it'll start to wrinkle. And when you're doing bare metal foil, you want to not use the edges. The edges do not have as much adhesive, and they will fall off. I've discovered that the hard way, unfortunately. And I have also clear coated over bare metal foil. This car will get clear coat before it's finished. I'm going to do some of the decals, then clear it, and then do the rest of the decals, because that's the way they did the decals for this car. They included part of the paint scheme on the decal. And let's just trim that off there. You go real slow, it'll like come off in a little curly Q, and that's really easy to pull off. You can use a piece of paper towel or a Q-tip to push it down. But again, I have actually found that fingernails work better than anything else, and I let them go a day or two after they should be trimmed to do that. And then I usually do a whole bunch of bare metal foiling at one time, then clip my fingernails right away. The foil will stay on the car with the adhesive, but if you handle it excessively, it will lift off a little bit, and if you go too close to the edge, it will lift off. You want, when you're bare metal foiling, you want to have the part that you're going to foil as smooth and clean as possible. You don't want to have debris in the paint or scratches, because that will show through. On this one, I just discovered I did not trim off some of the mold line correctly before I painted it. That's completely my own lack of focus on that. And so I'm actually going to have to trim that, then redo it. But luckily, because it's bare metal foil, it won't need to be repainted. It won't show through where I trim off and it's down to bare plastic. So that's a good thing. And you can do anything with bare metal foil. It doesn't have to be window trim. I know people use it for aircraft. I know some people even use it for masking. I tried that once. I did not care for it. I found that it left too much of a ridge and was too difficult to remove.
How would you handle the hood hold downs? Do you not use it on something that small?
I do not. For that, I use one of the Molotow chrome pens. That works much better, I find. Regular Sharpie will also work, but the Molotow gives a real chrome. I will also use the Molotow to touch up where I missed the part. If you don't want to do the whole thing with that, but there's a little piece there where I misjudged it, and I'll probably fix that with the chrome pen rather than try and do a whole other piece, because it will show the seams if you put too much on. Some people will put a whole piece over the entire windshield frame and trim it out and just basically discard the middle part. I'm cheap. I'm not doing that. These sheets are not. Yeah, these sheets are not that expensive, but I still don't want to waste that much.
Are there multiple shades of the chrome?
Yes, it comes in. This is regular chrome. It comes in ultra bright or super bright. I can't remember what they call it. It comes in gold, bronze, flat aluminum, and black.
No copper.
It might. I'm not entirely sure.
Copper would be good for ship modelers.
It probably does exist. I just don't happen to have any.
How long does the blade last before you?
Honestly, I've been using the same blade since around 2000.
Wow.
Yeah. Most people would tell you use a fresh blade every time. I don't do that. No. As long as it's not ripping.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
gets too old, if the blade gets too old, it will rip it. That's when it's time to get a new blade. I have a blade I use only for bare metal foiling. I don't use it for anything else. That's not this one, that one's home, but I don't use it for cutting decal paper, I don't use it for cutting anything, just bare metal. And that, of course, helps the blade to work.
So what clear coat do you like for that?
Believe it or not, I actually use the Tester's Lacquer Clear. I find that it gives the best shine for what I'm doing. The bare metal foil can go under pretty much any clear, and it doesn't dull it at all. Like if you have chrome decals, those will dull if you clear coat over them, but bare metal foil does not.
Just plain clear, not like gloss or anything like that?
Yeah, gloss.
Oh, gloss, okay.
They also make flat clear, but I don't need that for NASCAR
Once you
usually.
get down.
Modern NASCAR, they do a lot that are flat colors. But back in the day, this is from 1970. This build's going to be from 1976. They didn't do flat cars back then. And some people will tell you never clear over bare metal foil. I find it helps it stay on because I tend to handle the cars by the window frames areas, especially before it's completed, and it will come off on your fingers the more you handle it. But it won't dull, but it can be scratched. And I just find clear coating it works better for me.
Awesome, man. Very cool.
Well done, Billy.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Any questions?
How does it mold? Have you tried bigger parts like bumpers and stuff? I mean, can you mold it?
Not
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
I've
it
actually done an
doesn't
entire
form.
car body in 1/64 scale, and it really doesn't like compound curves too much.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
It will wrinkle down. You can smooth them with the back of your fingernail, but you're still going to see where the wrinkle was. It's not going to be 100%.
Yep.
But when you have no other option, it's the best option available at the time. I did it back in 2005. They didn't have the chrome paints like they do now.
You said the chrome pens, do you have to blend them or it goes over pretty well?
It matches perfectly. You don't really have to do anything.
Which company makes the pens? What's the best one? Is there more than one? Or?
There are a couple. I like the Molotov or Molotov. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
You can get them locally at the local shops. Or I've ordered one off of Amazon. I don't remember the brand. It works pretty well, but it doesn't come with as small of a tip, and
That's
the smaller the better for me.
Yeah. Right.
Because the larger tip, when you're trying to do the hood pins, you can get on the body itself,
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
not so good.
Applause.
Well done.
Thank you.
Very nice.